Hey there, my name is Mansi Thakar and I'm your cybersecurity professor at National University. You might have seen me in the hallways or even virtually, and yes, I am a hacker, but maybe not in the traditional way that you think of. At NVIDIA, I'm known as the Doctor of Digital Hygiene because I secure and govern our AI, artificial intelligence, to make this digital landscape better for you and me. In this episode of the Credible Sources podcast, I'm diving deep into the world of cybersecurity education at National and shattering some of the myths and stereotypes surrounding hackers. So tune in and get ready to see hacker world from a whole new perspective.
Welcome to episode 20 of the Credible Sources podcast. In this episode, we focus on cybersecurity and debunk some of the common myths and stereotypes about hackers. This special episode features a renowned expert and part-time National University faculty member with NVIDIA at the edge of the AI frontier. Resources to support cybersecurity students abound, and we'll cover that too. Let's get started.
We're so excited about this episode of the podcast, Mansi. Cybersecurity is forefront in our minds right now. But first, let's start with a short introduction. Can you tell us about yourself, please?
Hi everyone, my name is Mansi Thakar and I'm a faculty member here at National University for a little over a year now, where I teach both graduate and undergraduate level courses in cybersecurity. Through my experience at entertainment or PlayStation, FinTech up at Stanford, hardware at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise or Aruba, software at VMware, or now securing and governing artificial intelligence, AI, at NVIDIA, it just feels like it's lifetimes worth exploring the different facets of cybersecurity. Outside of this, I'm very passionate about giving back to the nonprofits within the community. And one of the annual activities that I get very excited for is to create and protect what is known as the world's most hostile network at DEF CON. For those who may not be aware, DEF CON is the largest hacking convention that happens in Vegas, actually, every year.
From our conversations, Mansi, you have an impressive journey in the field of cybersecurity, from leading nonprofits to your current role at NVIDIA. Can you take a few minutes to share a moment in your career and how it shaped your passion for cybersecurity?
A pivotal moment in my career would definitely be taking the cross-country road trip in a 35-foot bright green RV, interviewing trailblazers and pioneers in the field of cybersecurity for a PBS documentary. A bit of background here on why was that so great, apart from the fact that, it was a road trip and all the fun, cool stuff. It was because when I took my first graduate level course in cyber, and the first assignment was to create a Python script. The context there is that my undergrad was in chemistry, and I joke that the only thing common between the two is that both start with the letter C, right? So seeing that the first assignment was to create a Python script and someone coming from a non-traditional IT background, I was at my wit's end, right? I was like, is this for me? Have I jumped too far in the pool? Does cybersecurity really need one more person in it? And a person that is so non-techie like myself, or at that time that I was so non-techie. And it fueled me to go and seek these answers, right? So I did this over a month-long trip. If you can imagine, we started up in New York and did this whole U across the country and ended up at Seattle, Microsoft, again, interviewing CEOs, engineers, analysts, kind of thing, like, where did you guys come from? Like, what was your journey into cyber? And TLDR, right? In conclusion, or to recap, the main lesson there is that yes, cybersecurity did need a person like me. It does need people like me, people like you, right? That you would see that the more successful cybersecurity professionals, the trend is that people come from a variety of different backgrounds, the non-traditional IT backgrounds, right? I spoke with a CEO and CISO who came from economics, right? A threat engineer who did psychology, is like, they came from that psychology background, and it was so useful when they were trying to understand human behaviors or the attacker and hacker mindset. So that road trip was definitely a pivotal moment in my career. It's what fueled me and kind of has kept my passion for the field alive till today, despite those doubts still appearing, right? I don't think, or I haven't yet fully squashed all of them as I continue to level up in my career, no matter what company or role or new thing I've discovered. It's always there's that back of mind, that little voice of like, do I belong here? Am I just faking it all through? And it's at those moments where that road trip from some time ago still comes to my head and says, no, we need people like me. We need people like you.
It's clear to me that cybersecurity means different things to different people. What does cybersecurity mean to you personally? And what are 2 or 3 common misconceptions about the field that you'd like to address?
So, cybersecurity for me means the ability to be a superhero in a digital landscape without having to wear the cape, right? It is all about protecting your valuables, whether the valuable is a system, infrastructure, network, whether it's data, whether it's people at your company, people in your community, people in your family, people like yourself. It's all about stepping up and rising to the challenge to protect. One of the misconceptions, and I'll say that I had this too before I joined the field, is that cybersecurity equals hacking. And that hacking equals what the media perceives, right? Which is like that white guy in a hoodie and just clacking away in the basement. That's what it means to be a hacker. And that is not the case. I myself am an ethical hacker. I've broken into things. I've found vulnerabilities, right? I should caveat it's a white or ethical hackers. It's broken into things with permission, right? But I have, and though sometimes I do like and enjoy wearing hoodies, or I may work in the dark at times, but that is not me on a day-to-day basis. So hacking cannot just be someone who does this all day, every day. That's not the case. So let's crush that out. The second is that cybersecurity is just hacking. That's not the case, right? Cybersecurity is a collection of a variety of domains, whether that's GRC, so governance risk compliance, whether that's audit insurance, whether that's vulnerability management, threat intel, right? Blue team, red team, like there are all these different components which together or as pieces of puzzle come together, right? And really then you can have a holistic cyber strategy. So I feel like those are 2 misconceptions right there, which I'm hoping that after today you will never ever share them, right? Which is all about that cybersecurity is not just hacking, and hackers can come in all shapes and sizes of life. Another misconception that I think is very important is that cybersecurity is purely technical. And I felt this on that first day of that first course in graduate level course, which was Mansi created this Python script. And I was like, oh no, what is this? And that's not the case. Yes, of course, you must have some technical knowledge. At the end of the day, you're securing technology, so you need to know how it works, right? But it's more than that. In fact, I would even go to say that the soft skills like collaborating, communicating, influencing others are more important, right? Or more useful than the technical prowess. And work with me here. So we know that the system needs to be patched, right? We understand that it needs to be upgraded. If we, with all of our technical domain knowledge, can't influence and convince the business to, hey, spend your resources on this one. This is the high priority, right? If you can't convince them to do it, so that they don't do it, it gets hacked, it's vulnerable. So of course, it's easier to get hacked. What is the point of all your technical domain knowledge, right? So alongside technical knowledge, you must have the soft skill component. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but I'll go to say that this one, the soft skill knowledge, is even more important, or will take you ahead, and make you more impactful, make you a leader in cybersecurity. And then the final misconception I want to share is that cybersecurity is a solo role. And I find that to be just so funny because it's not, right? You think about it, the device, let's say I'm trying to secure my laptop. Well, if my laptop is in a secure room and not able to talk to other resources, or it's not on a network somewhere connecting to the internet, I don't really need cybersecurity, right? It's just a piece of laptop. It can't do anything. But the moment it starts communicating with other resources like a printer or other users, or the moment it does something, right, outside its little box, that's when we need cybersecurity. And the same thing is true about the work that cyber professionals do, right? Yes, we can work by ourselves when we're researching a vulnerability, or when we're figuring out or strategizing on how to fix something or how to break something, whatever our work or that, project might be. But at the end of the day, it's going to influence and impact so many other business units, right? Or at least more than just yourself. That's a given. And so it's not just a solo be in your corner kind of work, right? If you think about it, even like a SOC analyst who might be on like an 8-hour rotation in the middle of an incident or a breach, let's say that they have to like cross continue, they must be able to collaborate with the other person that's coming through for their shift and say, hey, I have done XYZ, you need to start with this, or please know that I've done this, or that kind of ability to communicate, ability to emphasize on what's important, what's not, what's already been done, what's remaining is so key. Communication is so key. And so cybersecurity, in my perspective, is never a solo job, right? You may go out and learn something by yourself, but then at the end of the day, for it to be useful, it is going to be in collaboration, in communication with others. Yeah, those are definitely the top misconceptions that come to mind. I hope I've squashed them for you. But yeah, so cybersecurity is not just hacking. A hacker does not have a specific look and feel. Cybersecurity is not just technical. Technical skills are important. I'll give you that for sure, because at the end of the day, we're securing technology is one of the components, right? But it's not the only thing. And that cybersecurity is not a solo function, right? Yes, we have a CISO or like Chief Information Security Officer, but even they will tell you that no, it takes a village for something to be secure, and that therefore working by yourself or thinking that, oh, for cyber, it just means me in a corner in the middle of nowhere somewhere. No, I don't think that's really the case. I hope that helps.
It's very clear from your energy and the time I've had to talk with you that you're very passionate about bringing others into the cybersecurity field. And one of the ways you do this is by teaching at National University. What motivates you to teach? And how do you believe you can best serve your students in this role?
So a key motivator for me to teach, and specifically at National University, is that there's this age-old saying, right, that the best way to make sure that you've learned something is to be able to teach it to someone else, right? Cybersecurity, the landscape is constantly evolving. So empowering this next line of defenders, or the next line of cybersecurity professionals with the tools and strategies that I know, so that they can take it to the next level, or they can mature it, enhance it, get the 3.5 version of it out. That motivates me greatly, right? I also love seeing their misconceptions or their myths kind of getting broken down, right? So many of my students don't come from the traditional IT background, and on that first day of class, I inevitably ask, like, okay, what does cybersecurity mean for you? Especially in those intro classes, 95% or more will say, oh, it means hacking. And I'm like, all right, time to squash that, right? Or when I can see my own imposter syndromes when I was studying, and I can see it in them when they're like, oh, this might not really be for me. I don't understand anything technical. I'm not here. Like, I was doing economics before this, or I was doing human, like I was an HR professional before this. And I was like, no, we need you, right? We need someone who understands the HR lingo or the HR processes around some of the tools like Workday or Okta or whatever the tools may be, right? We need folks who understand that and then can flavor in or add in the core concepts of cyber. That's what this industry really, really needs, right? It's less of just being a good cyber professionals, but you need to be able to add in the flavor of the industry that you're in, or of the profession that you may be in, right? So whether entertainment or hardware or software or AI, whatever that flavor is, that together with the core skills, that's what makes you a great professional. And so to be able to help the students develop the core skills, right, when they already come with the flavor of their background, which could be in a variety of things, it's not just that traditional IT. And even if it is the traditional IT, right, so some of them have been like a sysadmin role for a really long time, or they've been a database administrator in the past role, and they're like, okay, I want to get into cyber. I see things happening. How do I get into it? And helping them put their foot through the door, that excites me greatly.
We want to make sure that our listeners and viewers know that National University offers various resources for students pursuing cybersecurity. Could you please highlight some of these resources and explain how they support students in their academic and professional journeys?
So outside of the hands-on labs that we do, or the theory that I teach in my lectures, or the community that we have at National, what makes National so great, right? One of the reasons why it's a recipient of the $1 million grant for a San Diego cyber clinic is the fact that it has great resources, specifically in the library, right? Or the academic support. Like, it's basically a support system that you get ready-made at National, right? I can tell you a little bit more, but it's best to hear it from the source. So here's a representative from the library telling us how we can use some of the resources for cyber at National.
Hi, I'm Lauren Fox-Smith, and I'm the librarian for National University's cybersecurity programs. And I want to tell you a little bit about how we can help our cybersecurity students. Through the library, students have subscription access to research databases, including IEEE Explore, the ACM Digital Library, and ProQuest, which are all great for finding up-to-date and foundational research in cybersecurity. We also have access to Faulkner Security Management Practices, which publishes frequent reports written by security professionals on important trends in the field, which can help students keep up with the profession or discover new areas where they'd like to do their own research. Our cybersecurity students also use O'Reilly for higher education, which you might know as Safari. It's a collection of ebooks and video tutorials on security, IT, computer science, and also technical writing, project management, or leadership topics. So we have a lot of resources available for students who are doing research or seeking professional development. I also want to stress that there's a lot of support available to students who are doing research. We have a 24/7 chat service. So if students are up really late at night writing, or maybe they are stationed across the globe, there is somebody available that they can talk to about their research. They can also book one-on-one meetings on Zoom with myself or one of my librarian colleagues, and we will talk them through these steps and strategies for getting all the sources they need for their projects or expanding on the work that they've already done. When we work with students, they very often tell us that we've saved them a lot of time or saved them a lot of stress. And we know that students who work with librarians are much more likely to be successful in their programs. So I hope students or other folks from the National University community who are watching this will check out what the library has to offer and get in touch if they have any questions at all about the resources or the research that they're doing.
The Academic Engagement and Support Team has 3 distinct divisions: the Academic Success Center, ASC, the Library, and the Commons. We work collaboratively as a network to provide comprehensive, wraparound support for our students. Our focus is the NU student. Our team includes academic coaches, alumni navigators, the library, Strong Start, the Commons, writing and math tutors, and proofreading service.
A special thanks to our cybersecurity expert, Mansi Thakar, for taking the time to join us on the Credible Sources podcast. And thanks to our undergraduate success librarian, Lauren Fox-Smith. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.